Welcome to True.
Ice cream, from ancient frozen treats to future desserts. A journey through 4,000 years of frozen history. Introduction. Close your eyes and imagine the perfect summer day. The sun is blazing, sweat drips down your face, and suddenly someone hands you a cone of cold, creamy, sweet ice cream. That first bite, the instant relief, the explosion of flavor, the smooth texture melting on your tongue, pure bliss. Ice cream is more than just frozen dessert. It's childhood memories of chasing ice cream trucks. It's first dates sharing a sundae. It's comfort food after a breakup. It's celebration at birthday parties. It's a global industry worth over $68 billion annually, with Americans alone consuming approximately 23 pounds of ice cream per person every year. But how did we get here? How did humanity go from eating snow mixed with fruit juice 4,000 years ago to enjoying 1,000 different flavors delivered by drone? This is the remarkable story of ice cream, a tale of emperors and slaves, innovation and accident, science and art, luxury and democracy. From ancient China to Roman emperors, from medieval Arab innovations to American ice cream parlors, from hand-cranked freezers to liquid nitrogen, we're about to explore every delicious chapter of ice cream's incredible journey through time. So grab your favorite flavor, get comfortable, and let's travel back 4,000 years to discover how ice cream conquered the world, one scoop at a time. Chapter 1. The Ancient Origins Frozen Treats Before Ice Cream. The First Frozen Desserts. Ancient China, circa 2000 BC. The story of ice cream begins not with cream, but with ice. Long before refrigeration existed, ancient civilizations discovered that mixing ice with other ingredients created something delicious and refreshing. The earliest known frozen dessert dates back to around 2000 BC in China during the Shang dynasty. Chinese nobles discovered that mixing snow from the mountains with honey, fruit juices, and fruit pulp created a refreshing treat during hot summers. This wasn't ice cream as we know it, there was no dairy involved, but it was humanity's first experiment with frozen desserts. By 200 BC, the Chinese had developed more sophisticated techniques. They discovered that mixing milk with rice and freezing it in snow created something closer to modern ice cream. Ancient Chinese texts describe a method of packing a mixture in snow and salt, which lowered the temperature enough to freeze the mixture solid. This salt and ice freezing technique would remain the foundation of ice cream making for the next 4,000 years. The wealthy Chinese elite employed hundreds of workers whose sole job was to cut ice from frozen lakes and rivers during winter, store it in underground ice houses packed with straw for insulation, and preserve it through summer. This ice was precious, a luxury only emperors and nobles could afford. Persian and Middle Eastern innovations, circa 500 BC, 400 AD. Ancient Persia made crucial contributions to frozen dessert history. Around 500 BC, Persians had mastered the art of storing ice year-round using structures called yakshals, dome-shaped buildings with thick walls made of special insulating materials. These could keep ice frozen even in desert heat. Persians created faluda, or paluda, one of the world's oldest frozen desserts still eaten today. Faluda consisted of thin vermicelli noodles, frozen with sugar syrup and rose water, served with lime juice. The texture was completely unique, thin icy threads that melted on the tongue. The wealthy Persian elite also enjoyed sharbat fruit juices mixed with snow or ice, which eventually evolved into sherbet and sorbet. These cold drinks were considered luxuries reserved for royalty and the very rich. Ancient Rome, Emperor Nero's frozen delicacy, circa 50–60 AD. The Roman Emperor Nero, famous for his extravagance and cruelty, was also a pioneer in frozen desserts. Historical accounts describe how Nero sent slaves running into the mountains to collect snow and ice. This ice was then mixed with honey, fruit, and fruit juices to create what Romans called dulcia domestica, sweet frozen treats. Nero's frozen desserts were incredibly expensive because of the labor involved. Dozens of slaves had to run to the mountains, collect ice, and race back before it melted. Many slaves died from exhaustion during these runs. The wealthy Romans consuming these treats never considered the human cost. Ice cream began as a dessert literally made with slave labor. Roman writings also describe mixing snow with wine and honey, creating a kind of frozen wine slush enjoyed at elaborate feasts. However, these frozen treats disappeared with the fall of Rome in 476 AD, and the knowledge was largely lost in Europe for centuries. The Arab world, preserving and advancing knowledge, 700–1200 AD. While Europe descended into the Dark Ages, the Arab world preserved and advanced frozen dessert technology. Arab traders and scholars maintained the knowledge of ice storage, and wealthy caliphs enjoyed sophisticated frozen drinks. During the Islamic Golden Age, 8th to 13th centuries, Arab chemists and physicians advanced the science of refrigeration. They understood that adding salt to ice lowered its freezing point, a crucial discovery that made modern ice cream possible. The Arabs created katief sweet pastries sometimes served with frozen cream and various ice-based drinks, flavored with rosé water, saffron, and fruit syrups. These desserts were served in the courts of Baghdad, Damascus, and Cairo. When the Crusaders returned to Europe from the Middle East in the 12th and 13th centuries, they brought back knowledge of these frozen treats, reintroducing the concept to European nobility. Marco Polo and the Great Ice Cream Myth, 1295. A popular myth claims that Marco Polo brought ice cream from China to Italy after his travels in the late 1200s. This makes for a great story, but historians have found no evidence to support it. Marco Polo's extensive writings about his travels in China never mention ice cream or frozen desserts. What likely happened is that knowledge of frozen desserts traveled slowly along the Silk Road through trade and cultural exchange over centuries, not through a single explorer. By the time Marco Polo returned to Venice in 1295, frozen desserts were already known in parts of Europe, though they remained extremely rare and expensive. Chapter 2, The European Renaissance and Ice Cream's Evolution. Italian Innovation, the Birth of Modern Ice Cream, 1500s to 1600s. Italy, particularly Florence and Sicily, became the birthplace of ice cream as we recognize it today. During the Renaissance, Italian chefs began experimenting with frozen dairy desserts, adding milk and cream to the ancient formulas. In the 1530s, the Medici family in Florence employed skilled chefs who created elaborate frozen desserts for banquets. These early ice creams were made by placing a mixture of sweetened cream in a container, surrounding it with ice and salt, and manually stirring it as it froze. A crucial breakthrough came when Italian chefs discovered that constant stirring while freezing prevented large ice crystals from forming, creating a smooth, creamy texture instead of a rough, icy one. This technique remains fundamental to ice cream making today. Sicilians, with access to Mount Etna's year-round snow, became particularly famous for frozen desserts. They created granita, a semi-frozen dessert with a coarse, crystalline texture and early forms of gelato. Catherine de' Medici brings ice cream to France, 1533. In 1533, 14-year-old Catherine de' Medici married King Henry II of France. She brought her entire court, including chefs who knew how to make frozen desserts. These Italian chefs introduced frozen cream desserts to the French court. The French nobility became obsessed with these new treats. French chefs refined the recipes, making them even smoother and richer. They added eggs to create a custard base, which made the texture even more luxurious. This French technique would later become the foundation for what we call French vanilla ice cream. However, frozen desserts remained strictly a luxury of the royal court. Recipes were closely guarded secrets, and the desserts were so expensive that only the wealthiest nobles could afford them. The first published ice cream recipe, 1686. In 1686, a Sicilian chef named Antonio Latini published the first known ice cream recipe in his book Lo Scalco alla Moderna, The Modern Steward. His recipe described mixing milk, cream, egg yolks, and sugar, then freezing the mixture in a container surrounded by ice and salt. This was revolutionary because it democratized the knowledge. Anyone literate with access to ice could now attempt to make ice cream. Of course, ice remained expensive, so ice cream was still a luxury, but the secret was out. Café Procope, the first ice cream shop, 1686. In 1686, the same year Latini published his recipe, a Sicilian named Francesco Procopio dei Coltelli opened Café Procope in Paris. This cafe was the first establishment to serve ice cream and frozen desserts to the paying public, not just to royal courts. Café Procope became wildly popular among Parisian intellectuals, artists, and wealthy citizens. Famous patrons included Voltaire, Rousseau, and Benjamin Franklin. The cafe served various flavors of ice cream, sorbets, and frozen drinks. This marked a significant shift. Ice cream was moving from exclusive royal privilege to something the wealthy middle class could purchase. Ice cream was becoming a commodity. England discovers ice cream, 1671. Ice cream arrived in England around 1671 when it was served at a feast given by King Charles II. The English called it cream ice initially. By the early 1700s, London confectioners were making and selling ice cream to the wealthy. English cookbooks from the 1700s contain numerous ice cream recipes, showing it had become an established dessert among the upper classes. However, it remained extremely expensive. A single serving could cost the equivalent of a worker's weekly wages. Chapter 3. Ice cream comes to America. Colonial America, a luxury import, 1700s. Ice cream arrived in America with wealthy colonists who had tasted it in Europe. The first documented mention of ice cream in America appears in a letter written in 1744 by a guest of Maryland Governor William Bladen, describing the ice cream served at the governor's mansion. America's founding fathers were ice cream enthusiasts. George Washington spent approximately $200 on ice cream during the summer of 1790, equivalent to about $6,000 today, and purchased ice cream making equipment for Mount Vernon. Thomas Jefferson discovered ice cream during his time as ambassador to France and brought an 18-step recipe back to America. His handwritten ice cream recipe still exists today in the Library of Congress. Jefferson served ice cream at White House dinners, helping popularize it among American elite. Dolly Madison, wife of President James Madison, famously served ice cream at her husband's second inaugural ball in 1813, creating a sensation. Her strawberry ice cream became legendary in Washington society. However, ice cream remained rare and expensive in early America because ice was scarce and difficult to preserve, especially in the South. The Ice Trade Revolution, Frederick Tudor, 1806 to 1840s. Everything changed when a Boston entrepreneur named Frederick Tudor revolutionized the ice industry. In 1806, Tudor conceived the idea of cutting ice from frozen Massachusetts lakes, storing it in sawdust for insulation, and shipping it to warm climates. Everyone thought Tudor was crazy. They called him the Ice King, mockingly. He lost his entire fortune multiple times, but Tudor persisted, perfecting his ice shipping methods. By the 1820s, he was successfully shipping ice to the Caribbean, South America, and eventually as far as India. By the 1840s, Tudor's ice trade had made ice affordable and available throughout America and in tropical regions worldwide. This accessibility of ice directly enabled the growth of the ice cream industry. What had once been an impossible luxury in hot climates was now merely expensive. Ice houses became common in American cities. Families could purchase ice blocks to keep their food cold. This infrastructure made ice cream dramatically more accessible. The hand-cranked ice cream freezer, Nancy Johnson's patent, 1843. The most important innovation in ice cream history occurred in 1843, when Nancy M. Johnson of Philadelphia invented and patented the hand-cranked ice cream freezer. This device revolutionized ice cream production. Johnson's design was brilliantly simple. A container for the ice cream mixture sat inside a larger bucket filled with ice and salt. A hand crank turned a paddle inside the inner container, constantly stirring the mixture as it froze. This prevented large ice crystals from forming, creating smooth, creamy ice cream. Before Johnson's invention, making ice cream required laboriously stirring the mixture with a spoon for hours. Johnson's freezer reduced this to about 30 minutes of cranking, and the results were consistently better. Remarkably, Johnson sold her patent rights for only $200 and never profited from her world-changing invention. The hand-cranked ice cream maker, virtually unchanged from Johnson's design, remained the standard method for making ice cream for over 100 years and is still used today for homemade ice cream. The ice cream industry emerges 1850s to 1870s. With ice widely available and Johnson's freezer making production easier, entrepreneurs began opening ice cream businesses throughout America. In 1851, Jacob Fussell, a milk dealer in Baltimore, had a problem: excess cream. Rather than waste it, he began making ice cream to sell. Fussell opened the first ice cream factory, mass-producing ice cream and selling it at lower prices than anyone else. He expanded to Washington, D.C., Boston, and New York, becoming America's first ice cream tycoon. By the 1870s, ice cream was no longer just for the wealthy. Middle-class Americans could afford to buy ice cream at shops or make it at home. Ice cream parlors became popular gathering places for families and courting couples. The soda fountain was invented in the 1850s, and by the 1870s, pharmacies and confectionery shops were serving ice cream sodas, ice cream mixed with flavored carbonated water. These became incredibly popular, and soda fountains became central to American social life. Chapter 4. The Golden Age of Ice Cream Innovation. The Ice Cream Cone, invention at the 1904 World's Fair. One of ice cream's most iconic elements, the cone emerged from the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis, Missouri. The traditional story goes like this. Ice cream vendor Arnold Fornacieux was running out of dishes during the sweltering heat of the fair. Desperate, he turned to Ernest A. Hamwi, a Syrian immigrant selling zalabis, thin waffle-like pastries, at the neighboring booth. Hamwi rolled one of his warm waffles into a cone shape, let it cool and harden, and handed it to Fornacieux. The ice cream cone was born. However, this story is disputed. Multiple people claim to have invented the ice cream cone at the 1904 fair, and historians have found evidence of cone-shaped wafers being used for ice cream before 1904 in Europe. Nevertheless, the 1904 World's Fair definitely popularized the ice cream cone in America. The cone was revolutionary because it eliminated the need for dishes and spoons. Ice cream could now be truly portable street food. By 1924, Americans were consuming over 245 million ice cream cones annually. Mechanical refrigeration, the game changer, 1900s to 1920s. The invention and commercialization of mechanical refrigeration in the early 1900s transformed the ice cream industry more than any other innovation. Before mechanical refrigeration, ice cream production was limited by the need for natural ice, which was expensive, seasonal, and melted. With electric freezers, ice cream could be made year-round, stored longer, and produced in much larger quantities. In 1926, Clarence Vought invented the continuous process freezer, which could produce ice cream continuously rather than in batches. This industrial-scale production reduced costs dramatically and allowed companies to produce thousands of gallons daily. By the 1920s, ice cream was becoming a mass-market product available to all economic classes. Annual per capita ice cream consumption in America jumped from less than 2 quarts in 1900 to nearly 5 quarts by 1920. Prohibition era. Ice cream's golden opportunity, 1920 to 1933. When the United States banned alcohol from 1920 to 1933 during Prohibition, Americans needed new social gathering places and new treats. Ice cream filled that void perfectly. Ice cream parlors exploded in popularity, replacing bars and saloons as social spaces. The ice cream sundae, ice cream topped with syrup, whipped cream, nuts, and a cherry, became the drink substitute for cocktails. Soda fountains became the center of community social life. Ice cream consumption in America doubled during Prohibition. Companies like Dreyer's, founded 1928, Baskin-Robbins, founded 1945, and Carvel, founded 1929, emerged during or shortly after this period, building empires on America's growing ice cream obsession. New flavors and innovations, 1920s to 1940s. The 1920s through 1940s saw explosive creativity in ice cream flavors and products. Rocky Road, 1929, created during the Great Depression by William Dreyer in Oakland, California. The flavor chocolate ice cream with marshmallows and nuts was named to give people something to smile about during the rocky road of economic hardship. Chocolate chip, 1930s, created when someone had the simple but genius idea of mixing chocolate chips into vanilla ice cream. The popsicle, 1905, popularized 1920s, accidentally invented by 11-year-old Frank Epperson in 1905 when he left a mixture of powdered soda, water, and a stirring stick outside overnight during a freeze. He called it the Epsicle, but later renamed it the popsicle. The drumstick, 1928, an ice cream cone with a chocolate coating and nuts, created by I.C. Parker in Ohio. The creamsicle, 1923, orange sherbet coating vanilla ice cream on a stick, created by Frank Epperson. Soft serve, 1930s to 1940s. The soft, smooth ice cream served from a machine. Multiple people claimed to have invented it, but it became widely popular in the 1940s. Dairy Queen, founded in 1940, built its entire empire on soft serve. World War II. Ice cream as morale booster, 1941 to 1945. During World War II, ice cream became intertwined with American patriotism and military morale. The U.S. military recognized that ice cream boosted soldier morale, so they made extraordinary efforts to provide it to troops worldwide. In 1943, the U.S. Navy commissioned an ice cream barge, a floating ice cream factory that could produce 10 gallons of ice cream every 7 minutes. It traveled the Pacific Theater, delivering ice cream to ships and island bases. American bomber crews in Europe would make ice cream by attaching containers of ice cream mix to the outside of their aircraft. At high altitude, the mixture would freeze during missions, and they'd return with ice cream. When American soldiers liberated concentration camps and captured territories, they often shared ice cream with civilians, cementing ice cream as a symbol of American freedom and prosperity. Meanwhile, ice cream was rationed on the home front due to sugar and dairy shortages, making it even more precious to civilians. Chapter 5. The Modern Ice Cream Explosion. The Post-War Boom. Freezers in Every Home, 1950s to 1960s. After World War II, America experienced unprecedented prosperity. Home freezers became standard appliances, changing ice cream consumption forever. Families could now buy ice cream at supermarkets and store it at home. Brands like Breyers, Good Humor, and Seal Test became household names. The Good Humor truck ringing its bell through neighborhoods became an iconic part of American childhood. New suburban shopping centers included ice cream shops. Drive-in restaurants like Dairy Queen and Foster's Freeze became teenage hangouts. Ice cream was no longer a special occasion treat, but an everyday indulgence. Per capita ice cream consumption in America reached an all-time high in the 1940s to 1960s, with Americans eating nearly 20 quarts per person annually. Baskin-Robbins and the 31 Flavors Revolution, 1945. In 1945, brothers-in-law Burt Baskin and Irv Robbins founded Baskin-Robbins in California, pioneering the concept of flavor variety. Their famous 31 Flavors slogan, "One for every day of the month," revolutionized the industry. Before Baskin-Robbins, most shops offered only a few standard flavors: vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. Baskin-Robbins expanded the possibilities, introducing exotic flavors like pralines and cream, mint chocolate chip, and Jamocha almond fudge. This abundance of choice became the new standard. Customers expected variety, and other companies followed suit. The ice cream industry entered an era of flavor innovation that continues today. By the 1970s, Baskin-Robbins had over 1,000 locations and had truly changed what consumers expected from ice cream shops. Ben Jerry's and the Premium Ice Cream Movement, 1978. In 1978, childhood friends Ben Cohen and Jerry Greenfield opened Ben Jerry's in a renovated gas station in Burlington, Vermont. They took a $5 correspondence course in ice cream making and launched what would become one of the world's most beloved ice cream brands. Ben Jerry's revolutionized ice cream by creating ultra-premium ice cream with significantly higher butterfat content, making it richer and creamier, and loading it with enormous chunks of cookies, candy, brownies, and other mix-ins. Flavors like Cherry Garcia, Chunky Monkey, and chocolate chip cookie dough became cultural phenomena. Ben Jerry's also pioneered corporate social responsibility, using their company to support environmental and social causes. The success of Ben Jerry's spawned the premium ice cream movement. Haagen-Dazs, founded 1960 but reached peak popularity in the 1980s to 90s, and dozens of smaller artisan brands followed, emphasizing quality ingredients, creative flavors, and higher prices. Consumers proved willing to pay $1.57 for a pint of premium ice cream versus $1.34 for a half-gallon of standard ice cream. Quality trumped quantity. Global expansion. Ice cream conquers the world, 1970s to 1990s. While ice cream had existed in various forms globally for centuries, American-style ice cream chains expanded worldwide during the late 20th century. Baskin-Robbins, Haagen-Dazs, Dairy Queen, and others opened thousands of international locations. Ice cream consumption exploded in Asia, Latin America, and the Middle East. Countries developed their own ice cream cultures. Japan embraced unique flavors like matcha, green tea, red bean, black sesame, and wasabi. Japan also invented mochi ice cream wrapped in sweet rice dough. Italy, gelato, Italian ice cream with less air and fat, creating a denser, more intense flavor, remained dominant and influenced global ice cream trends. India, kulfi, a dense frozen dairy dessert flavored with cardamom, saffron, and nuts, existed for centuries, but Western-style ice cream also became popular, with flavors adapted to local tastes. Turkey, traditional dondurma, Turkish ice cream made with salep, a flower from orchid roots, has a unique stretchy, chewy texture unlike any other ice cream. By 2000, ice cream had become a truly global food, with each culture adding its own twist. Chapter 6: Science and Innovation in Ice Cream. The science of ice cream, what makes it work? Modern ice cream is a marvel of food science. Understanding the science helps explain why quality ice cream tastes better and why certain innovations work. The 5 components. Dairy, 60 to 70%, provides creaminess, flavor, and body. Sugar, 12 to 20%, sweetens and lowers freezing point for scoopable texture. Air, 25 to 50%, called overrun. Air makes ice cream light and creamy. Stabilizers prevent ice crystal growth. Emulsifiers blend fat and water smoothly. The freezing process. Ice cream doesn't freeze solid like ice because sugar and fat lower the freezing point. Premium ice cream is stored at around 0 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 18 degrees Celsius, cold enough to be solid, but not so frozen that it becomes rock hard. Overrun. This is the amount of air incorporated into ice cream. Cheap ice cream has 100% plus overrun, more air than ingredients, making it fluffy but less rich. Premium ice cream has 20 to 30% overrun, making it dense and creamy. Temperature shock. Taking ice cream in and out of the freezer causes ice crystals to grow, creating icy texture. This is why refrozen ice cream tastes worse. Molecular gastronomy, liquid nitrogen ice cream, 2000s. Around 2006, chefs began using liquid nitrogen to make ice cream, creating a spectacular dining experience and superior texture. Liquid nitrogen boils at minus 321 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 196 degrees Celsius, flash freezing ice cream in seconds versus 20-30 minutes in traditional methods. This ultra-fast freezing creates microscopic ice crystals, resulting in incredibly smooth, creamy texture. Restaurants and ice cream shops began making liquid nitrogen ice cream to order, pouring steaming liquid nitrogen into a bowl of ice cream base and stirring rapidly as clouds of vapor billow out. It's both delicious science and dinner theater. Chains like Sub-Zero and Creamistry built their entire business model around liquid nitrogen ice cream made fresh for each customer. Technology and automation, 2010s, 2020s. Recent decades brought remarkable technological innovation. Precision temperature control. Modern ice cream factories maintain temperatures within 0.1 degrees Fahrenheit, ensuring consistent quality batch after batch. High-tech flavorings. Natural and artificial flavorings have become incredibly sophisticated, replicating nearly any taste imaginable. 3D food printing. Researchers have developed 3D printers that can print ice cream in custom shapes and patterns, though it remains mostly experimental. Robotic ice cream shops. Fully automated ice cream shops with robotic arms that prepare and serve ice cream without human intervention have opened in California and other locations. Plant-based technology. Advanced food science has enabled plant-based ice creams that closely mimic dairy ice cream's taste and texture using ingredients like coconut milk, cashew milk, oat milk, and pea protein. Chapter 7: Ice Cream Today, 2020 to 2025. The global ice cream market. Today's ice cream industry is massive and growing. Market size. The global ice cream market is valued at approximately $68 billion and projected to reach $89 billion by 2027. Consumption leaders. New Zealand leads per capita consumption, 28 liters annually, followed by United States, 20 liters, Australia, Finland, and Sweden. Flavor preferences. Vanilla remains the world's most popular flavor, 25 to 30% of sales, followed by chocolate, 10 to 15%, strawberry, cookies and cream, and mint chocolate chip. Seasonal sales. In the United States, 40% of annual ice cream sales occur in June, July, and August. Ice cream truck sales peak during summer school vacations. Current trends and consumer preferences. Health-conscious options, low-calorie, low-sugar, high-protein, and keto-friendly ice creams have exploded in popularity. Brands like Halo Top, Enlightened, and Nick's market ice cream as healthy dessert. Plant-based boom. Vegan ice cream is the fastest-growing segment. Brands like So Delicious, Ben Jerry's Non-Dairy, Oatly, and dozens of smaller companies offer dairy-free options made from almonds, oats, coconuts, cashews, and other plants. Premium and super premium. Consumers continue willing to pay premium prices for high-quality ingredients, unique flavors, and artisanal production methods. Nostalgic flavors. Flavors reminiscent of childhood treats, birthday cake, cereal milk, cookie dough, remain extremely popular, especially with millennials. Alcohol-infused. Ice cream with alcohol content, whiskey, rum, wine, has become a significant niche market for adult consumers. Global flavors, matcha, ube, purple yam, black sesame, Thai tea, horchata, and other international flavors are mainstream in diverse markets. The direct-to-consumer revolution. The 2020 COVID-19 pandemic accelerated direct-to-consumer ice cream delivery. Ice cream delivery apps. Apps like DoorDash, Uber Eats, and dedicated ice cream delivery services bring ice cream to your door in insulated containers. Subscription services. Companies ship monthly ice cream selections nationwide in dry ice packaging. Social media marketing. Instagram-worthy ice cream creations, rolled ice cream, elaborate sundaes, ice cream burgers go viral, driving sales. Artisan and craft ice cream movement. Small batch, locally made ice cream has become a significant trend. Local ingredients, emphasizing farm-fresh dairy, local fruits, and regional specialties. Unusual flavors. Artisan shops experiment with savory flavors, olive oil, goat cheese, herbs, lavender, basil, and unexpected combinations. Storytelling. Small producers emphasize their origin stories, traditional techniques, and commitment to quality over mass production. Higher prices. Artisan ice cream often costs $8.12 per pint, but consumers pay for perceived quality and uniqueness. Chapter 8. The Future of Ice Cream, 2025 and Beyond. Predictions and Emerging Technologies. What does the future hold for ice cream? Based on current trends and emerging science, here are likely developments. Personalized nutrition ice cream. DNA-based customization. Your genetic profile could inform personalized ice cream formulated for your specific nutritional needs, metabolism, and taste preferences. AI-recommended flavors. Machine learning algorithms. Analyzing your purchase history, dietary restrictions, and preferences could suggest custom flavor combinations you'd love. Functional ice cream. Ice cream engineered with specific functional benefits, probiotics for gut health, adaptogens for stress, nootropics for focus, vitamins for immunity, protein optimized. As high-protein diets remain popular, ice cream with 15 to 25 g protein per serving could become standard. Sustainability and alternative ingredients. Precision fermentation. Microorganisms engineered to produce dairy proteins without cows could create real ice cream, same proteins as dairy without animal agriculture. Lab-grown dairy. Cellular agriculture, producing genuine milk proteins in bioreactors, would be environmentally sustainable and ethical while tasting identical to traditional dairy. Insect protein, cricket or mealworm protein added to ice cream provides sustainable, complete protein with minimal environmental impact. Algae-based ingredients, nutrient-dense, sustainable spirulina and other algae could color and flavor ice cream while providing health benefits. Upcycled ingredients, ice cream made from food, waste, imperfect fruits, spent grains from breweries, byproducts from other food production reduces waste while creating unique flavors. Revolutionary production methods. 3D printed ice cream. Advanced 3D food printers could create custom ice cream shapes, layers, and designs on demand. Imagine ordering a 3D printed ice cream sculpture of your face. Instant freeze technology. Devices using advanced refrigeration could freeze ice cream mixtures in seconds at home, providing restaurant-quality texture. Automated ice cream shops. Fully robotic ice cream stores with no human workers could operate 24/7, preparing custom orders in minutes. Home ice cream appliances. Smart appliances that make restaurant-quality ice cream from scratch at home with one-button operation. Delivery innovation, drone delivery, autonomous drones delivering ice cream in temperature-controlled containers within 10 minutes of ordering. Autonomous vehicle fleet, self-driving delivery vehicles bringing ice cream directly to your location anywhere in a city. Underground pneumatic tube networks. Cities might develop underground delivery systems shooting ice cream across town in minutes. Smart packaging, self-refrigerating packaging that keeps ice cream frozen for hours without additional cooling. Exotic flavors and experiences, space-age flavors. As space tourism grows, ice cream flavored with ingredients grown in space or designed for zero-gravity consumption. Bioreactor flavors, flavor compounds created in labs, enabling flavors impossible to create naturally, tastes that don't exist in nature. Augmented reality dining, AR glasses changing the perceived flavor and appearance of ice cream while eating it, creating unlimited virtual flavors from one base. Sensory enhancement, ice cream designed to trigger specific emotional responses through carefully engineered flavor and aroma combinations. Health and longevity focus, anti-aging ice cream, formulated with compounds like resveratrol, antioxidants, and collagen, claimed to promote longevity and health. Gut microbiome, optimized, ice cream with prebiotics and probiotics specifically designed to improve your gut health. Sugar alternatives, advanced sweeteners, providing sweetness identical to sugar with 0 calories and no aftertaste. Completely nutritious, ice cream that provides complete, balanced nutrition, technically replacing meals while tasting indulgent. Environmental predictions, carbon-negative ice cream, production methods that remove more carbon from the atmosphere than they emit. Vertical farm integration, ice cream shops growing their own ingredients in integrated vertical farms, harvesting fresh strawberries or mint for immediate use. Closed-loop production, facilities that recycle water, energy, and waste products, creating zero environmental impact. Regenerative agriculture, ice cream companies, partnering with farms practicing regenerative agriculture that improves soil health and captures carbon. Cultural and social predictions. Ice cream tourism, dedicated ice cream tourism, where people travel specifically to visit famous ice cream destinations, similar to wine tourism. Ice cream museums and experiences, interactive museums and immersive experiences centered around ice cream history, science, and culture. Virtual ice cream tasting, using technology to simulate ice cream flavors without actually eating anything. Digital taste experiences. Social ice cream spaces, elaborate ice cream destinations serving Instagram-worthy creations designed specifically for social media sharing. Ice cream pairing menus, high-end restaurants offering sophisticated ice cream pairing menus with wine, spirits, or multi-course meals. The preservation of tradition. Despite all this futuristic innovation, traditional ice cream will remain valuable and prestigious. Artisan producers using centuries-old techniques, hand-churning small batches, and sourcing heritage ingredients will command premium prices and cultural respect. The tension between ultra-modern automated ice cream and traditional craftsmanship will only intensify. Both will coexist, serving different consumer desires, convenience and novelty versus authenticity and tradition. Conclusion: the eternal appeal of frozen sweetness. Why ice cream conquered the world. We started this journey 4,000 years ago with ancient Chinese nobles eating snow mixed with fruit juice. We traveled through Persian yakshals, Roman emperors' extravagant treats, Italian Renaissance innovations, and American industrialization. We witnessed ice cream transform from exclusive royal luxury to democratic pleasure available to everyone. And we've glimpsed a future filled with personalized nutrition, sustainable production, and technology that would seem like magic to our ancestors. But through all these millennia of change, one question persists. Why? Why has ice cream captured human hearts across every culture, climate, and era? The universal magic. Ice cream succeeded globally because it possesses unique qualities that transcend culture and time. Immediate pleasure. The cold sensation hitting your tongue on a hot day provides instant physical relief and pleasure. This is primal satisfaction that everyone understands regardless of language or culture. Childhood connection. For most humans, ice cream connects directly to happy childhood memories. First ice cream cones, birthday parties, ice cream trucks, summer vacations. Ice cream isn't just food, it's wrapped in nostalgia and joy. Sensory perfection. Ice cream hits every pleasure point, simultaneously cold temperature, creamy texture, sweet taste, pleasant aroma. It's engineered by evolution and chemistry to trigger maximum satisfaction. Emotional comfort. Ice cream provides emotional comfort during stress, sadness, or celebration. It's both reward and remedy, treat and treatment. There's actual science showing that cold, sweet, creamy foods can improve mood. Infinite variety. Ice cream accepts any flavor imaginable, from vanilla to wasabi, from chocolate to black sesame. Ice cream adapts to every culture's tastes while remaining fundamentally recognizable. Social experience. Ice cream is inherently social. Shared sundaes on dates, family trips to ice cream shops, ice cream at parties. It brings people together in joyful contexts. Affordable luxury. Ice cream can be inexpensive enough for anyone, yet luxurious enough to feel special. This accessibility combined with indulgence is rare and powerful. The human innovation story. Ice cream's history is fundamentally a story of human ingenuity and determination. Consider what it took to create ice cream in ancient times. Workers risking their lives running into mountains to collect snow. Engineers designing underground ice storage facilities in desert climates. Scientists discovering that salt lowers ice's freezing point. Inventors creating machines to churn ice cream smoothly. Entrepreneurs building ice trade empires. Chemists perfecting stabilizers and emulsifiers. Every scoop of ice cream represents thousands of years of accumulated human knowledge, innovation, and effort. It's a testament to our species' creativity and our desire to create pleasure from simple ingredients. Democracy in dessert form. Ice cream achieved something remarkable in food history: true democratization. In 2000 BC, only Chinese emperors could enjoy frozen desserts. In 1700 AD, only European aristocrats could afford it. By 2000 AD, nearly everyone in developed countries could buy ice cream. This journey from exclusive luxury to universal pleasure mirrors humanity's broader economic and social progress. Ice cream became the dessert that doesn't discriminate. Children and billionaires eat the same ice cream and experience the same joy. A child licking a simple vanilla cone experiences fundamentally the same pleasure as a food critic savoring artisan gelato in Florence. This equality of experience is profound and rare in human culture. A cultural ambassador. Ice cream has become perhaps the world's most successful cultural ambassador. It enters every culture, not by force, but by invitation, adapting to local tastes while maintaining its essential identity. Japanese matcha ice cream, Indian kulfi, Turkish dondurma, Italian gelato, American Rocky Road, all are distinctly different yet recognizably ice cream. This flexibility allowed ice cream to become truly global while respecting local traditions and preferences. Ice cream proves that something can be simultaneously global and local, universal and specific, traditional and innovative. The science of joy. Modern neuroscience explains why we love ice cream so much. Cold, sweet, creamy foods trigger multiple pleasure centers simultaneously. The cold temperature activates temperature receptors. The sugar triggers dopamine release. The fat creates satiety signals. The smooth texture provides sensory pleasure. The aroma activates memory centers. Together, these create a perfect storm of pleasure signals flooding the brain. Ice cream is literally engineered by evolution, chemistry, and food science to make us happy. It's not weakness or lack of willpower that makes ice cream irresistible. It's biology. Looking forward with gratitude. As we stand in 2025, looking toward ice cream's future, we should pause to appreciate the remarkable journey that brought us here. Thousands of innovators, entrepreneurs, scientists, and dreamers dedicated their lives to improving ice cream. Nancy Johnson spent years perfecting her hand-crank freezer. Frederick Tudor lost his fortune multiple times pursuing the ice trade dream. Ben and Jerry practiced ice cream making in a renovated gas station. Countless pizzaiolos, chemists, dairy farmers, and workers contributed to the ice cream we enjoy today. Every time we eat ice cream, we're benefiting from this accumulated human effort and knowledge. The future is frozen. The next chapters of Ice Cream's story will be the most dramatic yet. We're approaching technologies that would seem like pure magic to our ancestors: instant freezing, personalized nutrition, sustainable production without animals, delivery by drones and robots, flavors that don't exist in nature. Yet through all this change, the essential appeal of ice cream will remain constant: the pleasure of cold sweetness on a hot day, the comfort during difficult times, the celebration during happy moments, the simple joy of something delicious. Whether made by a Naples street vendor in 1700, a Nebraska grandmother in 1950, or a robot in 2050, ice cream will still be ice cream, and it will still make us smile. One last scoop. So here we are, at the end of our 4,000-year journey through ice cream history, from ancient Chinese snow cones to space-age 3D printed creations, from royal privilege to democratic pleasure, from manual churning to automated factories. Ice cream has had quite a ride. But the most important part of Ice Cream's story isn't in the past or future. It's happening right now, every time someone takes that first bite and smiles. Ice cream isn't just dessert. Ice cream is childhood summers and first dates. It's comfort after heartbreak and celebration at parties. It's family traditions and cultural identity. It's science and art and business and culture all swirled together into something cold and sweet and perfect. The ancient Chinese nobles, the Persian kings, Emperor Nero, Queen Catherine de' Medici, Thomas Jefferson, Nancy Johnson, Frederick Tudor, and millions of others who shaped ice cream's journey, they all had one thing in common. They understood that creating pleasure, comfort, and joy is worthwhile work. Every scoop of ice cream carries 4,000 years of human creativity, innovation, and love. That's not just dessert, that's magic in a cone. And that, my friends, is the story of ice cream, the frozen treat that conquered the world, one happy brain at a time.